Hey guys, Butts here. Today I want to talk about some of the cool new physical duration skills for 3.24. Particularly I want to talk about the new Tornado and the newly updated and even more badass Void Sphere of Rending, now with 33% more damage. I'll talk about Void Sphere first since it already exists. It deals about 630% damage per second, which is slightly higher than something like Stormbrand of Indecision that deals 510 with Runebinder, and that was just nerfed. Obviously, spheres do not have nearly the support brands do, and being able to scale cast speed is a good thing. However, early league, when your gear sucks, you're point starved, passive damage is kind of king, and we were like slowly reaching this critical mass with these poison duration skills, where maybe each one individually doesn't deal incredible damage, but if you combine them, they do. Not all of them, but think of it like how Cold Dot uses Vortex, like Vortex when it's just walking around, then when it runs into rares it can't kill, it's like Creeping Frost or Cold Snapping. You can do something similar like that with these phys skills now. And that's interesting because that's not really something that existed prior. Alternatively, any of these skills can be used to supplement single target on a normal Fizz poison caster like Exsanguinate or EK. But I find the Cold Dot style far more interesting. Anyways, builds like these have really easy access to like early power with things like Breath of the Council with like Spellblade, Obliteration, Cold Iron Point, and then uniques that give a ton of damage like Ming's Heart, Dendrobate, etc. You know, all the usual suspects. In the show notes, I have like an early occultist POB if you value explosions over literally everything, like damage, speed, survivability, etc. And I have more reasonable Pathfinder POBs. These are not League Star guides. They are just kind of to get the juices flowing and maybe give everybody some ideas. So speaking of using two skills for damage, like Tornado and Void Sphere kind of pair perfectly together, right? Like they're both Fizz skills, they're both duration skills, they both don't really scale with cast speed. Void Sphere sits in place, which is helpful for single target, where Tornado runs and chases enemies, which is probably good for clear. You know, to be determined on that one. But like the upside of this is, I mean, just look at it, right? Like look at how, I don't know. I think Tornado is so fucking sick. I've wanted to play it as a main skill for so long, and the fact that it's finally here is like super exciting. So I'm pretty freaking pumped for that one. So since like I don't really have footage of this because again it doesn't really exist in current PoE, I can quickly talk about the PoBs for this. I have two different versions. I have an occultist, which is typical Grace D term suppression, and then AoE power charge stacking scaling stuff. Using combat focus jewels to block fire and lightning, using Rim Sorrows to fully convert the Void Sphere to cold, besides the chaos damage. And then I'm using something like Doriani's Invitation or Doriani's Lesson to fix the life sustain problem that occultist spellcasters frequently have. And then something also kind of cool, I'm finally getting to use like one of my white whales of building. I've always wanted to use the Black Cane, but never been able to because I haven't really had two skills that kind of scale like this or make sense using together. But since Tornado hits really frequently, I think the Summon Phantasm should be able to be up pretty consistently. And what that means is, like, as you can see here, this is like about double damage from our Tornado. And the buff you get for this isn't restricted to the thing that's linked with Summon Phantasm. So this also about doubles the damage of my Void Sphere as well. So pretty big DPS increase. Pretty interesting stuff. I'm pretty excited to try that one. I don't know if it's going to be clunky in practice because I've never actually tried it. I've just POB'd it a million times. Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention is both these builds are both using Anathema, which I know can be kind of annoying. So if you don't want to use all those extra curses, you can always just use the Mastery to flip them, and then either just use Assassin's Mark or use Assassin's Mark plus Punishment or something like that. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this. Onto the Inquisitor version, I think this one is like super solid because it's got good defenses, good sustain, big hit pool, and it's got actual duration on the tree. It doesn't exactly have explosions, but it has Herald of Ash, and it's got way more damage than the other build too. So I don't know. This version looks super solid to me. And again, I don't really know how it's gonna feel in practice, but this is like really solid damage, and it's both are 5 links because I have them in the same body armor. Again, like similar to how Cold Dot is built, which is I think really interesting because you could have one in a 5 link like a pseudo 5-link like this, like I have set up over here. The reason I didn't do that is because Infernal Cry is really powerful, and now that you can just kind of include it into builds, I have an Infernal Cry call to arms setup, which the sockets were getting really, really tight, so I had to make some cuts, so I couldn't afford to fit in a pseudo 4-link if I wanted to also have a guard skill, which I value guard skill very highly, so I was not willing to drop that. If you are, then you can, get more damage, or drop something else. But yeah, that's like pretty much it for the POBs, these versions I have. If you want something like more, and I'm sure this would be very strong, something like Energy Blade focus, I think you could check out like Captain Coruscating Elixir. He probably has like a ton of videos on something like this. I'm sure. And one of the like nice things about these kind of builds is, like I mentioned, like you don't need a ton of cast speed early, and you have access to like really good early game power with things like White Wind, Nyctus Lantern. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if this will feel good, and I can't exactly recommend League starting it because I've never played it. But I don't know. I think there's something here. I'm pretty interested in it. So if you are too, I don't know. This is maybe like a jumping off point if you want to look. Like I said, I'll include these POBs in the show notes. But thank you guys for stopping by. I'll catch you later. See ya.